Hey, Facebook, how is it going this evening? Thanks for kind of tuning in, and definitely a guest that I have had on my radar for quite a while now. How is it going this evening? Is kind of tuning in and Excel dude, Ashkan Ghanbari, and we've been kind of going back and forth on a few emails, and I've been really trying to track him down, and luckily we have him here for you tonight as our special guest. We're kind of over consulting and kind of the good, the bad, the ugly, what it takes to get started, and maybe whenever you're kind of out in the field, what are some good tips to kind of keep your head above water and then also get paid at the end of the day, because that's really what it's all about. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Ashkan, and Ashkan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Alex, hey buddy, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here. I'm very excited, and I saw that you pronounced my full name. It's a really weird name, so it's easier to call me Ash.
Ash, all right.
Yeah, because the full name, it's a pain in the ass. You don't want the full name. So Ash is good enough.
There we go. I like it. Well, where are you located?
So
Ash?
yeah,
where are you at?
I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a beautiful town, beautiful city. It's great to live here if you don't mind paying $500,000 for a one-bedroom apartment.
Oh my God!
But besides that, it's fantastic. Yeah, nice place to raise your family.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I've been here about 20 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, long time, man. It feels like my hometown now.
Has the city kind of grown around you with it being so expensive now, or?
It has grown around me. It's and it's just gotten more expensive and more expensive and more expensive to the point that it's one day soon it's gonna become uninhabitable, and we're just gonna get up and leave.
That's what I kind of noticed.
We're gonna go to Ohio.
Ohio, man.
Well, like you said, Excel hotbed, Ohio.
That's where everybody's at. But Canada's good too, because Kevin Lairbass, the spreadsheet guy, he's up there, and then so is Ken Poles, kind of the power query. I mean, Canada's got some talent going on. And then another guy that I kind of was in a boot camp with a while back, Tom, I think Bradby was his last name, but he does and this is fantastic. He does tracking for ambulances and the shortest distance of routes, and he does that on an Excel Maps 3D. And the stuff that he does in real time, I was like, this is insanity. This is whenever you see Excel can do cool stuff.
Wow. Tracking ambulances. That's one thing I hadn't heard of Excel doing.
Yeah, so you would choose the starting point, end point, and then see, shortest distance, or, if there was any delays in the routes. Then you'd start figuring out from analysis, all right, maybe we should start taking these routes. It was insane when he was describing it, but I loved it. It's just another cool thing that Excel can do that, whenever you're in the finance world, it's numbers. I get it.
Dude, isn't it amazing that no matter how much you think Excel does, every day there is something you learn that it does that you had no idea.
Oh.
I had no idea that you can track ambulance distances on a 3D map using Excel.
Yeah.
That would have never entered my mind.
Yep.
That's the beauty of our bread and butter program here, Alex. We love it. That's why we love it.
So what have you been doing with Excel, kind of in your career? Where does your specialty lie?
So, do you want me to take you down the memory lane a little bit of how I came about?
I've got my bourbon right here. I'm ready.
Do it right here. Bourbon power. So yeah, I was like we talked about earlier. I in 2012 I was looking for a job, and it was last year of university for me, and I was studying political science of all things.
Oh man, my brother was a political science major.
Does he say it's the most useless thing in the world also?
Yes, can't get a job from it or anything.
There you go. You can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
You just get 4 years of student loan, and that's what it's designed for. So, so anyways, it was last year at university, and I needed a job, and I applied at Best Buy, and they had this job for a claims administrator, and I applied, and I got it, and basically the whole job was morning to evening, just using Excel to administer claims and stuff. So that's how I really got my start with Excel, and every day I was using it. And my job kind of grew out of being an administrator. I somehow turned into a financial analyst and a business analyst. And just my use of Excel turned into making financial models, forecasting, budgeting, things that are cooler than just administrating, 2 + 2 = 5 and things like that. So
did you have any mentors in the office, or were you just kind of by yourself, kind of figuring this out as you went?
Let me tell you a little bit of a tidbit. The thing with Best Buy is that they hire people who know nothing, so they can pay them nothing, right? And then they get them to learn. So that's their trick. So, because they know if you're completely ignorant when you get hired, they can give you a very crap salary. And once you're on the job, they kind of have this open policy of learning. So they give you a project and they tell you, hey, listen, man, you go learn it however you want to learn it. And we have these resources here. Ask them whatever questions you want. So that kind of worked out to be a blessing for me. So in 2-3 years I was there, I had a couple of great mentors. Like I had a couple of great managers who were great teachers, and they were fully subscribed to the Best Buy mentality. Fire, let them learn. Why we pay him shit?
Yeah.
So, but the great guys, and I learned a lot from them. And so I became a financial analyst through there, and did a lot of financial modeling. And that was 2012, and I was there until 2015. Then I got another job at a different company as a financial analyst. And one day, I remember in February of 2015, the problem was that in March of 2015, my student loan payments are coming up.
Oh.
So I had to start repaying them, and I had to pay them, I don't know what it was, $350 a month.
Too much.
And I was thinking to myself, that's too much, right? So I was thinking to myself, how can I start paying this without taking out of my current salary and making my wife mad? So what I did, I asked myself, what is the one skill you have that maybe people will pay for? And the only thing that popped into my mind was Microsoft Excel. So that day in February of 2015, I said, listen, I'll try something. So I went on Craigslist and I posted an ad. And I said, if you have an Excel project, I'm a Excel, expert. I don't know what I called it.
Guru, ninja.
I don't think I called myself something cool yet because I didn't have any confidence. So I said expert or something phony. I don't know. But what struck out at me was that on that first night, I got 2 responses.
Really?
And I absolutely. And it dawned on me that there's actually people out there who want to pay you to do their Excel projects for them. They're not really these are not people who are interested in learning it themselves.
Oh, yeah.
They're not interested in you training them. They just don't have the time. They just want you to do it for them. And, whatever it is that they want to pay you, they just want it done. So that night, I made like $40 or something. I don't know. I was so excited.
Oh, yeah.
I got paid through PayPal. $40, and it was huge for me. Like, not that the $40 was huge, just the thought of, hey, this is possible. So that felt great.
Well, that was always a goal of mine. I was like, find something you love to do and convince somebody to pay you $100 to do it. And it's like, it's
right?
You hit that milestone. It's like, oh man, that is awesome.
Absolutely. It's not about the $100. It's just the thought of it that, hey, I can do something that I kind of enjoy.
Yep.
And someone will pay me for it. So anyways, and then after that night, my mind started working, and I started thinking about this more and more and more. And one thing led to another. And at that time, I was watching The Big Lebowski a lot. So I was thinking about the dude a lot. So I thought, hey, I don't know how the name Excel Dude popped into my mind. And because I was thinking about naming, when you start a business, you got to have a name, you got to have a logo, you got to present yourself somehow.
Yep.
And like you and I discussed before, the thought of presenting myself as like ABC Consulting or
Tech,
some crappy, boring TK. Yes, that's the that's the height of their creativity. Yeah.
But when you do that, you feel like you're going to bring those type of clients.
Yeah, you're not going to get people who are entertaining. And to be absolutely honest with you, entertainment was very important to me. I don't know. I thought to myself, listen, making money is important, but I mean, I'm a little bit of a, what do you say, dickhead. So I thought getting entertained here was very important. So I came up, so I thought, I don't know how the name Excel Dude popped into my mind. And then I went and found a t-shirt, a dude t-shirt, because the dude is, I mean, it's a cult figure, right?
Oh,
There's different
completely.
t-shirts. There's hundreds of thousands of people who are just enamored with the dude. So I found a t-shirt with his face on it, and someone had done a beautiful graphic, and I stole that graphic and I made it my logo. I haven't heard from the creator yet, but I'm waiting. I've been waiting for 2 years now. If whoever the creator of that particular graphic is, if they reach out to me, we'll work something out. But I've never heard. So until then, I'm going to use it as my logo.
Nice.
But then I turned it in. I turned it green, the Excel colors. I put the name Excel underneath the dude, and it became Excel Dude. And I started advertising different places on Craigslist. So at the time, I didn't know that Craigslist doesn't allow you to post. If you're in Vancouver, it doesn't allow you to post in Austin, Texas, or
Really?
I don't know, Los Angeles or Montreal. I didn't know that. In my genius, I thought, oh my God, this is a cash cow. I'm going to post the same ad in 300 different places, and I'm going to get, I don't know, 100 clients a month. But the thing is, Craigslist doesn't like that, so they banned me from Craigslist. So
Just like your IP, is that what they
dream
recognized,
died
or
fast.
what?
They recognize your IP, and they recognize the same ad. They have these algorithms, because apparently there are a bunch of other dickheads like me who have tried the same thing over and over again. So they programmed it to not allow that. Anyways, one thing led to another. I started advertising on Google. I started advertising in my local town papers, things like that. And I built my website. I became exceldude.net. And it still amazes me how much demand there actually is for someone to do your Excel projects for you, which is, it feels odd to me still to this day, but it's there. Small businesses, medium-sized businesses, even large enterprises who really don't have an analyst in-house who can build them a VBA subroutine or build them a Excel tool to generate invoices. They don't want to hire someone full-time to pay them, I don't know, 70 grand a year. So that's when they come to the dude. Or there are a lot of other people out there like me, but there is demand out there for it.
Yeah, but it's a little tough right
it's
now
still amazing.
because the internet.
What's
and
that?
So it's a little tough at the same time too, only because I'm just thinking of a website I'll throw out is like Fiverr.com, and people will do insane stuff on there in Excel for $5. I won't even get out of bed
I hate
for
them.
$5.
I can't stand Fiverr. They're
Yeah.
just cheapening everything out.
Yep, and I know graphic artists
Yeah,
that
for
also say that
$5.
about the website and just a lot of different kind of creative or just kind of administrative roles. It's tough. Like
Yeah.
you have to have your bottom dollar of like, all right, this is where I'll at least start at, or at least what I'm comfortable accepting. But when people are willing to undercut you by 80%, it's like, wow, this is unreal.
That is my biggest problem, because I mean, there are people in South Asia, especially. There are people in India and Pakistan who are, what I do for $500, what I do for $1,000, they're willing to do for $50.
Yeah,
And all the power to them. I'm glad that they have found I'm glad that the internet allows the wealth to be distributed globally in the way that it does. But it's just tough business for us.
yep.
I mean, it is tough when your competitor does it at 10th of the price. So you you really don't have a price advantage there. So what you have to distinguish yourself by saying you're local. You'll sign a contract. If you mess up on something, they can come after you. But I mean, if someone in I don't know, New Delhi messes up, I mean, how are they going to go after them?
Oh yeah.
Or the way I started distinguishing myself was basically my website, my 1-800 number, saying, listen, you can call me toll free anywhere you are. You can call me anytime. I tell them I answer, but I don't. I take messages. I can't pick up at like 9 p.m. I got a baby.
Yep.
But that's not what I tell them. And then, so yeah, you got to distinguish yourself from people who are willing to do it for like 10% of the cost. But it's tough, but at the same time, as your reputation grows, as the word of mouth grows, you're going to attract medium-sized businesses who really don't want to deal with someone offshore. They want someone who's closer. So in that way, the more you do it, the more reputation you build, you're going to attract higher paying clients.
So right now is consulting the 9 to 5, or is that something you're kind of doing on the side?
No, man. It's not my 9 to 5. I'm a manager of financial analysis and planning for a prepaid credit card business. I won't name the company. Maybe they don't like
me. No, you're fine.
Name them here. I don't know. Maybe there's a policy against it. I have no idea.
No, you're fine. But whenever you're kind of balancing the client's needs in your daytime, like if they're reaching out to you because something broke, because a new file or something else, and the vendor changed,
dude,
how do you balance that right then and there when they're in meltdown?
Alex, it's not for the faint of heart, man.
I would agree.
They come after you. They come after you hard. They don't care you got a 9 to 5. They call you. They call that 1-800 number at 11 a.m. at 12 p.m. There's at 1 p.m. They don't care, and kind of you gotta be able to juggle it, and most of all you gotta be willing to work, I don't know, 12 hours a day. You gotta pick up that call in the middle of a meeting in your day job and tell them, listen, I'll call you at this time at my lunch hour, or but at the same time I'm fortunate to work at a place that gives me that freedom. They're cool. They allow me to do whatever I want as long as I deliver what I gotta manage and deliver. So I have that flexibility, but it's you got to be willing to work a lot of hours, and you're doing the same, right? You got your training business on the side. You're doing your 9 to 5. You understand what I mean?
Oh, I mean, it's not easy. As soon as you get done with one job, you start on the other.
Absolutely, and as long as you have passion for it, you're going to do it, right? You don't care.
Oh yeah. So, kind of getting back here to your Craigslist, were you even ready at that time to start consulting, or was it just more kind of a fake it until you make it? I'm going to see if this thing is actually possible or not.
Listen, it's that's a great question, man. It's a halfway thing. You know, half of you believes that, hey, you are 4 years every day, so you got something to offer.
Yep.
Your other half obviously is going to say, listen, man, you're faking it. What the hell are you doing? Go back in your box.
You're in too deep.
Don't, just shut the hell up. You don't know anything about Excel. Don't advertise yourself. But so half of it is fake it until you make it, and the other half is genuinely, if you've done something 3-4 years every day, 9 to 5, you really do have a genuine expertise at it.
Yep.
But you're not going to be 100% confident about it. But so getting back to your point, it's half of it is fake it till you make it, half of it is genuine expertise. So at some point you just got to take that leap.
Oh yeah.
Say, listen, I'm going to fake some of this, so my other expert side actually gets to show up. But you got to fake some of it, man. You can't, no matter who you are. I don't think there's anyone out there. Even Michael Jordan probably faked some of it when he got on the court. There's always that doubt, right? You got to fake it a little bit.
Well, that's where whenever I was doing a job for like $60, and it was like normalizing some like European addresses, and that was something I'd never even kind of experienced, and their addresses are bizarre. And at like the 4-hour point, I'm like, I'm only getting like $15 an hour. At 5 hours, you're like, this is awful. I'm down to 12 hours. By the end of it, you're kind of like, I made like $4 an hour trying to solve this problem. Like, it was not worth it. I was in way too deep. You need to kind of be like, all right, I'm not going to do that again.
Alex, that's a huge problem. Just believing something's going to take 4 hours, that's a huge problem in consulting. You believe something's going to take 4 hours, but you have no idea, and you want the job so bad.
Yep.
You tell them, yeah, I'll do this 4 hours, $60, I don't know, whatever. It's going to take you 50 hours, like you say. You're going to make $2 an hour. You're going to want to die at the end of it.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. But over time, like after a year or two, you get a sense of, when a project comes in, you get a sense of, you got an intuitive sense of, how much is going to make sense for it. But in the beginning, you're going to go through that a lot.
Oh yeah.
You're going to take jobs for $100, and you're going to want to kill yourself by the end of it. Because, you're not going to make anything. You're going to make, like you said, $4 an hour. That happens a lot in the beginning, and it's a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well, that's what I kind of notice as well, is whenever you start talking with clients and kind of the request, like that's a huge portion of it is, I want to be the data or the Excel expert or kind of the problematic thinker, and they're like, well, I want you to now understand real estate or franchise information. I have no background in that. And they're like, well, I want you to research it. I'm not going to spend 50 hours researching franchises and be a franchise expert to get paid $200. It's not going to happen.
Absolutely. That's a huge problem. I've encountered the exact same problem. They're going to ask you to be an expert in healthcare in Missouri, or I don't know, like real estate business in Montana. How are you gonna do that?
Oh yeah.
It depends on how desperate you are for the job, right? If you're desperate enough, you're gonna say yeah. If you're not, you're just gonna let it go. But that is a big problem.
So where do you kind of draw your line and you're staying with yourself? Do you kind of stay within your expertise, maybe from your background in the 9-to-5s, or do you ever kind of jump out of different comfort zones?
Honestly, I jump out of the comfort zone a lot, Alex.
Really?
I feel like in order to grow, you got to do it. So, I mean, I guess, well, I'm going to be honest about it. So the client comes to you, they're going to tell you, I need a Microsoft Access database that communicates with Microsoft Outlook and sends emails at this time and then puts it in an Excel spreadsheet, and you have never done it. You don't even know how to do it.
Is that possible?
You can't even imagine how to do it. Is that even possible? You don't even know. But your gut tells you that, hey, it is possible if I put, 50 hours into it. Sometimes I do those just to get out of my comfort zone. I know I'm not going to make much money by that project because, like, it goes back to the same problem we discussed earlier. It's going to take me 50 hours. I'm going to make $4 an hour. But if I feel that there's a new skill here that I can learn through this job, I tell them, yes, I can do it. And then I go out and learn how to do it. And fortunately, up to now, it's worked out. But hopefully, it's not going to be a situation where I completely mess up a client's database or destroy their entire business. Thankfully, it hasn't happened yet. But but I feel like personally, those kinds of projects allow me to learn and grow. Without them, I'm never going to grow.
Oh, completely. I mean, stepping out of your comfort zone, I mean, if you've never done it, you're never going to ever use it. So at the very end of it, you might have some code that you're like, all right, well, on my next project, all of the code is already written. I just need to edit a couple lines, and this is ready to go.
Absolutely. I
kind of
completely agree.
Either in the beginning of a project or maybe in the kind of middle, like where do you kind of start noticing red flags, and what do those look like for you?
Red flags. I honestly have a good intuitive sense of red flags. I know right away when a client comes to me that there's 50 red flags that I don't know how the hell to do any of it. I know the red flags right away. I kind of convince myself to do it, like the fake it till you make it approach.
Yep.
Just so I can learn it. But spotting red flags is one of my talents. So right away when
you have to build it up over time.
Yeah.
So I mean, like in the beginning, they're like, well, I want this spreadsheet to do this thing, and I want it to do this thing, I want it to mail this, and I want it to do that, and you're looking at them like, well, you're using Excel 2007, and you could have all this stuff built by yourself with like just a couple versions upgraded. Do you ever find yourself selling them on upgrading or changing? Because I notice you kind of have databases on your website too that you try and move them towards.
Yeah, so that is an interesting thing, Alex. I mean, based on what the clients approach me to do, like what I've realized is some analysts who use Excel to do their financial analysis, to build financial models, projections, they know how to use Excel and they don't need you to do anything for them. Most of the people who come to me are using Excel to somehow manage their business and somehow manage their processes. For example, they have macros to take information from their clients, to manipulate them in some way and store them in some way. They're using Excel for things that maybe originally it wasn't meant to be used for. Because I think from my understanding, Excel at its heart is an analyst tool. And it's going to be an analyst tool for a long time. And I don't think it's going to go anywhere for a long time. But it has so many different capabilities that it's just grown into this monster that businesses use it for so many different things, for they use it for making applications that really I don't think anyone thought Excel were designed for. They want to basically manage their whole businesses with it. So what I've started doing is I'm now, when I have clients such as that, I'm pushing them towards building them web applications, cloud web applications. So basically these are, I don't know if you're familiar with Zoho Creator, for example. So Zoho Creator is basically an online tool that allows you to build a customized business application. And it's basically an online database that you can program on top. The same way that you can program on top of Excel using VBA. So I got certified on that platform about, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 months ago. So now I'm pushing the businesses towards that, because Excel is not meant to be it's not a great tool for people in a company or a business who want to collaborate on a certain database. Like 15 people can't use Excel at the same time and have great results with it.
Yeah.
I know Excel has tried to do it using OneDrive and all that, but I mean, that's not what it is. At its heart, it's an analyst tool to analyze data, to forecast, to do their calculations, things like that. So businesses that are using it for storing data, managing their processes, interacting with clients, collaborating, I'm pushing them towards building the web applications and things like that. And to be honest with you, I haven't had great luck with it, because mostly clients are still so addicted to Excel and Access that even though that it might not give them 100% of what they want, it is such an amazingly simple tool and such an accessible tool, such a popular tool that they just don't want to let go. They don't want to let go of it.
Like, that's why I don't feel bad about like using an Access database if they're at least open to that from Excel. It's like, all right, well, if I can get them at least in a database, I can then run some SQL, and maybe in the future I can talk about getting them into an actual, Azure database or MySQL or whatever you want to kind of go for. But I mean, if you notice right at the beginning of the project that all signs point to this thing is not going to be stable at the end, do you kind of lay that out for them? Do you kind of back yourself out because you're like, well, I don't want to support this because this thing is going to fail. Here's every reason why it's going to fail.
I tell them now. I have to tell them, because I know if I don't, 2 months, 3 months down the line, it's going to be my pain in the butt.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have 50 issues with it, and guess who they're going to want to solve it? It's going to be me. So I lay it out for them now. I tell them, listen, this is the best way to do this is, for example, an Access database or a web application or a web database. I try to outline that. For example, today a client called me. They are looking to build some product merchandise customization tool that they can share between the product engineers, the sales manager. They want to collaborate on it. Like they want to have 30 people work on it. And I went through 15 minutes of explaining to them how a web application would be a great tool for this. After 15 minutes of listening and nodding and saying yes and this and that, again, they went back and said, listen, we still want to try Excel. Let's just try it with Excel. If it becomes a huge pain in the ass, we're going to do something else. But now I outline it for them, because if you don't, it's going to be your problem 2-3 months down the line.
Oh, completely. So what are the requests that you're seeing then? Is it mainly for just data, or is it visualization, or do they want kind of business intelligence? Kind of what's out in the field right now?
It's what I find is that it's mostly tools to capture data and manipulate them in certain ways to create reports. That's what I'm seeing mostly from small and medium-sized businesses.
So definitely I find that automation, it's not then, right?
Absolutely, automation is the word. They're looking for automation. They're looking for something that shaves hours off of their daily workload of capturing some kind of data and reporting on that data in some way or form. So it is not mostly financial modeling or projection or analysis or visualization that are after. Because like I said, people who do that kind of a thing, they know how to do it with Excel. They're not gonna, they are an analyst. They know what to do with it. Mostly it is people who are looking for automation of some kind, and automation of data and reporting. I see that a lot in the field these days. I get a lot of requests for that. So capturing some kind of customer data and generating some kind of reports based on those data, and in the meantime having this automated in some way. There's a lot of that out there, and these are mostly small and medium-sized businesses. That's
where I'd kind of noticed it was just kind of a communication that went out to my work. It was just a small little piece. It was like, send out a communication to our sales leaders. And I was like, well, why would we manually do that? And, an hour and a half later, I wrote 2 loops that would send all of the emails out to everybody in probably 5 minutes. What took one person 4 to 5 hours per day to complete. So by the time I estimated all of the savings, it was $539,000 in savings at the end of the year.
Oh my God, that's incredible! Yeah, that's absolutely what they're after. Automation, like you say, Alex.
But that's what I try and tell everybody. Is like,
saves money.
The robots aren't like coming tomorrow. They're right here, right now. Like, we have all of the tools available. I guess that's where as consultants, you need to get out there and be like, this is what I'm selling. This is what's possible. Give me how much time it takes you daily, and I'll give you an estimate back of how much time it will take when I'm done.
Absolutely, and that is a great sales technique. Trying to tell a client how much you're going to save money by this automation, and that is something that clients really like to hear.
If only we get a percentage of that.
I know, man. That's the tough part. Convince those greedy bastards to share the wealth.
Oh man, that's great.
That's the problem.
So tell me, all right, this is kind of an interesting one. Is whenever you walk into somebody else's code, how is that? It's often a nightmare, and a lot of projects that I've seen, I've honestly been like, this would be easier for me to just start from the beginning and rewrite it.
Absolutely. There are some conscientious coders out there, these great souls, these wonderful people who leave notes for everything. I love these people. I think they're the greatest people on earth. On the day of rapture, these people go to heaven first. These conscientious coders, they comment, leave comments for everything. I love them. But then there are people like me, who I think they're probably an absolute nightmare for future coders. Because I'm half kidding, but I'm half serious.
I don't put an excessive amount of notes either. Like, if something is outside of the norm is when I put the most notes. But if it's like a do loop or something like that, I don't need to write that. I'm hoping that somebody that's coming in from behind me at least has that concept down. But it's really like, what I notice is people that have been that guy for that company for 15 or 20 years, then retires, and they have nobody. They never had any contingency plan to back this person up. And this is where you're now getting hired, and you're like, well, I don't mind taking your money, but everything that's in it is like, well, how did this ever work, and why have you built your business around this?
Honestly, Alex, like you say, some of the codes you see, like you say, you just want to start over. It's such a huge headache. You don't want to go back and try to understand what the hell has happened.
Oh, it's like a macro recorder is how they built everything. They just like hit record. You can see like a scroll window.
The scroll, yeah. Oh my God, like 500 lines of scrolling. Yeah. I encountered that. That's for clever business owners who use macro recorders, and they didn't want to hire anyone, so they macro recorded their way through everything. You see like 500 lines of junk in there that you have to work through.
Oh yeah.
But I've seen all kinds of it, man. I've seen really great coders who've left such great comments that really made it easy for me to go back and change things. And I've seen some absolute nightmares. And I think I'm sad to say, I'm depressed and ashamed to say that I fall into the latter category. I'm halfway point somewhere, and I think somebody right now is scratching their head, cursing at me, trying to fix some code that I wrote somewhere.
Oh, that's great. Well,
but I mean that.
Oh, go ahead.
That, Alex, it goes back to that same problem. Like, if a client has paid you $200 to write like 200 lines of code, I mean, for the life of you just can't leave comments there, man. I mean, you're already making $4 an hour on that. How are you going to write world-class code? It's just not possible.
Yeah. So, kind of getting back then, you started with Craigslist, and that was kind of a yay and nay until they banned you everywhere. But so kind of was it more internet, or was it door to door, or how did you did you call people at random businesses and say, I'm offering this, or how did people find the dude?
Nah, man. No, I'm shy, man. I can't call people. I can't cold call worth shit. I can't do it. It's a talent. Being a salesperson is a talent. I can't do it. My wife is a great salesperson. She can sell anything to anybody, but I just can't do. I can't cold call anybody. So for me, it was Craigslist wasn't working. Eventually, I was just restricted to posting ads just in Vancouver, which is my hometown. So they check your IP, and if you're posting ads in the same geographic area, they let you be. So I post ads in Vancouver, but still not too much business. So what I started doing was I started building profiles in freelancing websites. I started building a profile on Guru.com, Upwork, Freelancer. There's a few more of them. And I started getting a lot of responses to them. Just when people search on, for example, people search on Google, Excel expert or Excel guru or whatever. These websites pop up. And if you have good ratings on these websites as a consultant, when they click on that link, your name pops up first. So I started getting a lot of contacts through there. And
so
then
you're an SEO expert as well.
Besides, dude, SEO, no, Jesus, what a pain in the ass SEO is. Oh my goodness.
You just wanted to do some Excel work, and here you are now doing HTML, SEO,
oh my
Google
God,
AdWords.
exactly. I have no idea how to do it, and I have a website. I don't know how to. I hired some fella who was a great guy, and he kind of tried to teach me a few things. I don't think I learned much though. But so yeah, those freelancing websites kind of, if you don't have SEO talent, they are a good substitute because they put you at the top of the list if you have good ratings. And then I actually started doing Google AdWords. So I started doing targeted advertising on Google. Like for example, when people would search for Excel expert or Excel guru or whatever, my ad would show up first, like Excel dude, I don't know, Excel, this guy is a great Excel fellow, call him, whatever. But I didn't have great responses from AdWords either, because the cost doesn't justify the results.
Yeah.
Oh, I can hear myself.
I know. I'm getting the live stream. There we go. So that's kind of interesting, especially with like the Google AdWords like showing up at the top of your list. Like just typing in your city, are you even making front page on Excel? Like that could be huge.
Yeah, dude, you have to spend a lot of money to get there. AdWords is expensive, and for my, I don't know, $500 a month budget or $200-300 I wasn't getting any results. So eventually I just gave up on that. But honestly, after a while, word of mouth became my biggest source of income. Just actually two things: word of mouth and also organic online presence. So if you have a Twitter account for, I don't know, for Excel Dude, or I have a Facebook account or the Google Plus account, if you're active on those platforms, when people search for Excel experts or whatever, organically you might show up at a higher place. Now again, I'm not an SEO expert, but so far it seems to be that the more active I am on social media platforms, the more business comes my way. Somehow they're finding me. I'm not sure how, but it's mostly word of mouth and I guess organic search. I don't know.
No, I mean, word of mouth and kind of the local, kind of your local field. I mean, that does wonders. Trying to hunt some guy down in New York for a job for, $150, $200. He doesn't care about you. You're just another name on the internet. But if you show up at their business, or you shake their hand, or you give them a call, and it goes a pretty long way. But the thing I always tell people is, especially with consulting, 95% of consulting is finding the work. The other 5% is actually doing it. So,
absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. The toughest part is finding the work.
Yeah.
The doing the work is not that. You'll get through it. It's your passion. You'll do it somehow. You'll figure it out. But finding the work, that is a problem.
Oh yeah. So what happens with your work-life balance when everything is, 9 to 5 is blowing up all the time, and now you're starting to get calls and emails that consulting. Like, where does family come in? Where does your responsibilities, your cat and your dog? How do you balance it all?
Alex, it's a problem. It's a problem, man. It's a little bit of a chaos, to be honest. So I have my wife, I have my baby, and then I have a 1-year-old baby, and we have a cat and a dog, and so I work a lot, obviously, and my wife is good. She kind of affords me the time to do my job, but at the same time, it's the work-life balance is all whacked out, man. So you got to be willing to put your baby to bed at 10 p.m., go back to work until 1 a.m., and then go back to bed, and then get up at 7 a.m., go to your day job, and then come back home in the evening, play with your baby, I don't know, help your wife clean or cook or whatever it is, because, I mean, it's taking care of a baby is a 2-person job, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got to be willing to be always on the go. And it throws the work-life balance completely out of whack, unfortunately. But if you have a passion for it, then you do it. But it doesn't mean that the balance doesn't get screwed up. So you just got to do your best to balance it out. And you just got to cut back from your sleeping time, man. That's what you got to do.
Nobody has sleep.
That's the solution. I find that's the best solution to everything. Just cut back on sleeping. Things work out after that.
So, I mean, this is what's kind of funny for me is, everybody's sacrificing around you, your family or your friends, as you try and pursue these different avenues. Ideally, we'd all love to quit our jobs and kind of do this as, the full time to pay all the bills, kind of be your own boss. But, have you had that talk with your wife and be like, you are fantastic at the phone, you rock and roll here. How can I ever pay you to help me do this thing legitimately? Because my wife, she's a copywriter and she writes, fantastic creative. And I was like, if I could even have just a smidge of your talent for like 5 minutes. And she does all the editing on my website, so I mean, she was the one that makes me sound good. But it's like the husband-wife duo of Microsoft Excel or consulting.
Yeah, honestly, I was discussing that with my wife. I think 7-8 days ago. Like I said, she's a phenomenal salesperson, and I think if instead of me presenting, my wife was presenting some solutions to some clients, I think the income would double. So. I'm serious.
No,
so
I agree.
I've been discussing that. I'm discussing that with her. I was discussing it with her last week, but we haven't come up with some concrete solutions. But I would really like to utilize her talents and get her involved, selling these web apps that I'm having trouble selling. These are great solutions. People are not buying them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So maybe my wife can sell them. But I know exactly what you mean. If your wife is talented in some way, you gotta utilize them, because like you say, it's the work-life balance is out of whack, and like you say, the dream is to eventually not have the 9 to 5 and just have your business to be the family business, to be the breadwinner for the family. And it's tough to get there, but I think if the whole family puts their mind to it, the husband and wife duo, then maybe we'll get there. I don't know. Maybe we have this chat a year from now and I'm there. I don't know, man.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it's everybody's sacrificing for this, but it'd be great if we got there sooner. That's where it's like, all right,
absolutely.
When does this stuff start paying off?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you.
So, all right, I'm going to go to some of our questions here from the website. What are the best ways to get started? You kind of touched on that a little bit. What would you recommend? Do you recommend spending more time on internet, or just maybe like posting to your friends and family and saying, hey, I would like to start doing automating spreadsheets or this and that, or recommended putting ads on Craigslist or in the newspaper? What would you recommend looking back on it now?
I think you got to do all of it, and post an ad on Craigslist, build your profiles on the freelancing website. That's the key. That's how people are going to see you. And third, get active on social media. Get active on Twitter. Get active on Facebook, Google Plus, whatever it is, whatever your cup of tea is. Be out there and actually contribute. Like, don't think about whether when you're writing a tweet about Excel, don't think about whether that's going to pay you 2 days from now or not. If your main goal is to contribute to the Excel community, I think eventually that is going to build up your profile as someone who's serious and someone who can be trusted with the project. So have the passion for the actual work and put yourself out there. And I think eventually the business will come. Business will follow that.
Nice. No, I like that. I don't know. I've kind of contemplated on going, knock door to door and leave a business card or, a little piece of paper and saying, here's my services. But it's always like, all right, I'm going to spend 10 hours doing that. And what is the return, if any? And if you look at the internet, it's just such a wide talent pool where it's like, all right, where do you want to spend the most time at?
Absolutely.
So kind of getting your presence out there, how do you gauge the length of time to complete a project?
Ooh, that is so difficult. And when you start in this business originally, you're gonna screw up that calculation. You're gonna coach someone 10 hours when it's 50 hours, when it's gonna actually end up as a 50-hour project. It's gonna take you probably a year or so to get to a place where you can intuitively gauge how much time and effort the project is gonna take. Of course, you can never forget about the key of gathering as many requirements as possible from your clients before giving them a code. But eventually you're going to have an intuitive sense. Your gut's going to tell you this is a 50-hour project, it's a 100-hour project, this is a 200-hour project. But before gaining that intuition, you're going to have to do your homework that first year and a half. You're going to have to make sure that you are analyzing the project properly before giving the code. You're going to have to make sure that your requirement gathering process is top notch. Otherwise, you're going to get screwed.
Yeah. Making that $2 an hour. And like, oh God, how did I end up here?
And no matter who you are, you're going to have those. You're going to have those $2 an hour projects.
Well,
you just got to get over that.
I've kind of transitioned. I just hate doing visualization stuff for people because it kind of comes back to they want you to be an expert in something. I want you to be an expert in, kind of I still come back to the franchise one because that was the biggest nightmare. And then build out all these kind of different charts to show them how their returns is going to be, their amortization over time. So I send it to them and I get it back and I realize it's all in Excel 2007. Everything is broken and it was nothing of what he wanted. Even though he described everything to me, I was like, this is awful. And now I've kind of put my line in the sand. I was like, all right, I'll just do kind of data normalization. I'll just clean up people's data. Like that is the easiest for me, like quick hit stuff. And kind of talking earlier with kind of normalizing the addresses from overseas, that was a nightmare. And I'll never do that again. But I had one the other day where it was like remove duplicates and, do a couple lookups on things. And it was like $30 for 2 minutes worth of work. And I was like, oh, yeah. I can handle that. That's a quick hit one.
Yeah. Those feel great, man.
Oh, they're so good. Because you just log online, you're like, well, I don't know, I'm just going to check the inbox and see what's out there real quick and see if there's anything I want to take on. And it's like, all right, I'll do that one. That'll take me like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got to kind of figure out what space do you actually enjoy working in. And I don't know, building applications is a lot of dedication. That's where I always struggle is because my 9 to 5 isn't supportive to that. Picking up the phone and kind of doing another job on the side. So it's like, all right, understand where you're going to be able to get the most return off of in your downtime if you're not able to pick up the phone or answer that email during the middle of the day, because that's another thing that kind of, whenever I kind of work with clients is when I get that sense that they want me to be their employee and, you're currently working as a consultant and you're like, all right, well, I'm not here 9 to 5. I'm not in control of what you do. I'm not going to pick up and drop everything off just because you decided to mess something up during the middle of the day.
Yeah. Some of them really expect that. They expect you to be. They expect you to be their employee, and you gotta be upfront and frank with them about that. If you go down that road, it's not gonna end well.
Oh yeah. Oh, so let's talk about the dude. Let's talk about the dude. I want to know what kind of clients you're attracting with this, because you've got to be getting a lot of people saying, "Is this serious? What is this all about?"
Well, Alex, that's a really good question. And you know what? It seems to me that people are getting the joke. You know what I mean? Like, originally I thought that maybe it's going to put off some clients. And originally when I made my website, it was actually a lot filthier, to be honest. I had a lot of jokes that are like, they were not business friendly. I was just trying to entertain myself. And still people would call me up and say, listen, your website really entertained me. It's Excel project or whatever. So most of the, I guess people who are turned off by it would never call me, so I wouldn't know.
Those are the ABC
but
tech systems.
It seems to me
that's what they're looking for.
Exactly. They're looking for some ABC tech system or something phony, generic, whatever. But I've never gotten the sense that people are not getting the joke and never are not entertained by it. So my wife and I talk about it a lot, because we can't believe that people actually take the dude seriously, but they really do take it seriously.
It's cult.
Yeah, there's a sense out there that that people are not going to appreciate if you try to put some comedy into your business. But I think that's completely wrong. If you are true to who you actually are and try to project some of your personality into the business you're trying to launch, I think that resonates with the clients. Based on my experience, that's what I've gotten. I think people, if it's genuine and if what you're putting out there doesn't look, it looks out of the ordinary, but it's really part of your personality, people buy into it. That's been my sense so far. So I haven't had a problem with it.
No, I love it. I mean, that was kind of when I started out with just kind of my Excel training site. So I mean, different thing, but it's whenever I went to a web page and there was like 50 pop-ups, sign up for this, do this, and buy this, and I couldn't even get to your page before you were asking me to pull out my wallet. And that was always like a thing for me. It's like, as soon as people like know that you're either real or that you have some type of human connection that they can identify with, like yours. Like I said, when I saw you on Twitter, I was like, this is fantastic. I don't know who came up with this thing, but it's a genius. And, I've gotten able to connect with you, and I was like, this guy's even cooler than his online persona. So it was...
Thanks, man.
Yeah, but it's kind of like you put in all the kind of the heavy lifting first to let people know that, like, this is the type of person that I am. And if you want to come with me on this journey, if you want to hire me, like, we're going to have a good time. We're going to be able to sit down and share a beer at the end of this job and, like, kind of celebrate. It's not going to be... a handshake and out the door. There's going to be an existing relationship, and they're going to call you back in the future. So
absolutely. That was very important to me, Alex. I wanted that. I wanted that genuine. I wanted that honesty in how I'm presenting myself, and I wanted entertainment. I wanted to be entertained by it myself. So that was very important to me. So that's how the dude came about.
So kind of a thing for me. Talking about kind of getting yourself out there, especially with kind of the Excel community at large, is whenever you start putting in more, you're going to get more attention. And especially something like this, like, I'm thinking of, what is your wife thinking? She's like, why the hell does some stranger want to talk to you online about Excel? What are you doing? Why aren't you here with the baby tonight? Like how are they taking that for this evening? Yeah, absolutely. It's funny when it starts rolling and when it starts working out, it just gets a life of its own and it just goes from there. But it's hard for people to believe in the beginning how people might be interested in such a thing, such a service. Because that's what I notice is, especially a program like Excel and how widely known and widely used it is. Everybody you talk to, I'm a pretty solid 8 out of 10 in Excel. All right, well that's great, because I'm a 4 out of 10. I'm a pretty solid 4 out of 10 with the guys that I see all the time working. And then, the more time and the more effort you put into your work, and the more that other people start noticing you, like your peers and your friends, and they're like, wow, you're actually pretty good at this. And they're like, some guy wanted to talk to you about this online. They're like, that's not normal. And like, maybe he is telling the truth. Maybe he's kind of a idiot savant at this Excel thing.
Yeah.
That's how I always kind of noticed, like, kind of the juggling, the validation, because these are people that have broke bread with you, that have had drinks with you 100 different times, and they know you for who you are. They don't know you for kind of all of your talents that you're putting out there for other people. And that's where kind of me lately is I've been really just trying to figure out, especially with like nonprofits, like how can I give my talents back to the causes that I care about? You know, maybe they don't have the resources right now, but there's so many things that we could do today to just help other people.
Absolutely.
And, you know, if at the end of the day you can find a client that wants to pay you for it, you know, like I said, find something you love to do and convince somebody to pay you $100 to do it. Like, set that as a goal.
Oh, absolutely. That's the key, Alex. Like you love it. You love training in Excel, so you don't mind doing it no matter what it takes. And I think that's key.
Oh yeah.
If you enjoy something, if you have passion for it, money is just an extra bonus, to be honest.
Completely.
I know exactly where you're coming from.
Because consultant will burn you out.
Oh yeah. If you don't like it, it burn you out. Even if you like it, you have a chance of getting burned out by it.
Yep.
But if you have a passion for it, then it makes it easier.
I think that comes back to finding the right clients too. Like you had kind of said, your brand was going to attract the clients that you wanted.
Yeah.
So that was
it was gonna attract clients who, you know, I don't know, they had watched the Big Lebowski and they enjoyed it. So there already is that foundation where you know you're gonna get along with that person on some level. So it made it easier.
Oh man, that's great. Well, let's start wrapping this thing up here. I think we're hitting the hour mark. Where can people find you?
Sounds good, buddy. Well, they can find me on my website, www.exceldude.net. I'm on Twitter. That's how you and I connected.
Oh, yeah.
At the Excel Dude. I'm on Facebook. I have my Excel Dude page. I think if you search for it, it'll come up. I'm all over the place, man. I'm out there.
Oh, yeah. And I'll share your kind of links as well, but
Thanks,
anybody that's kind of listening to this after the fact that wants to kind of reach out to you, I definitely recommend it. He is a very fun dude. And the one thing that I've noticed is, that's kind of funny now. I said dude without even thinking about it. You're just the dude now. But the one thing I really appreciated from you is just like kind of your candor and honesty. And I think really that's what a lot of people are looking for, you know, that are wanting to get started or that are maybe like, I don't know if this is right for me. Because I've kind of gone back and forth with consulting as well, because sometimes you'll hate it and then other times you're like, this is something that I love to do. And, you know, a little bit of income is nice, and if there's ever a point where you could actually, that's the difficult part, is that work-life balance. Always make sure that your life is taken care of before the work. Otherwise, the work will definitely suffer.
That's number one. Honestly, I'm so glad you brought that up. That is number one.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, your work is going to go down the hole too.
Yeah, because I've been in situations where, you know, I've kind of described it, you know, working in a spreadsheet sweatshop, you're just like going through the motions. You don't really have any passion for the application anymore, and you're just kind of there, and that's where it gets a little difficult. And, you know, money doesn't cure all evil, but you know you'll try. Oh,
absolutely. So key is entertainment first, money second.
Oh yeah. Hey, it looks like Sana Afrab.
Oh, that's my wife.
Oh, she said it's a great interview.
Well,
she's validated you.
Oh, I feel so good. She's very sweet.
Oh, yeah. But I'm going to encourage anybody that wants to kind of reach out to you, definitely do it. If they have any questions maybe about consulting or kind of where to get started, you know, hopefully you can kind of lend them a hand. Just kind of point them in the direction. But obviously don't steal his business in the Vancouver market if you're up there.
All right, Alex, it was a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for setting this up. And I hope we can do this sometime soon again.
Very cool. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Awesome, man. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye now.